have you ever stopped to really think about why we have rules? I mean, are they simply about control, keeping us in line?
Mhm.
Or can they maybe help us uncover the whole story of a community, revealing deeper intentions, challenges, even the surprising quirks?
That's a really interesting way to put it, because often what looks like just a rigid do not or must do, it isn't arbitrary at all, is it?
Right.
It's usually a direct response to something very specific that, well, that went wrong, or perhaps something vital that needed to be actively nurtured within the group.
Absolutely. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We're diving into an ancient and surprisingly practical text, the Vattakkhandhaka.
Ah, yes, the Vattakkhandhaka.
It's a key section of the Kulavagga, one of the earliest Buddhist monastic codes of discipline. Think of it as a treasure trove of rules, or vada, specifically laid down for monks by the Buddha himself.
And our mission in this deep dive isn't just, listing rules. It's about uncovering the stories behind them. Each
Oh.
vada emerged from a real-world problem or incident, offering this fascinating window into the daily lives, the often unexpected challenges, and, yeah, some truly surprising mishaps of early Buddhist monks.
You'll quickly see how even the most sort of mundane actions, like how you clean a dwelling or enter a room, were considered crucial, absolutely vital to the fabric of a cohesive community.
Exactly.
So let's unpack this. Let's start at the very beginning. How monks were expected to behave when entering and leaving the monastery.
Yeah.
Really setting the tone, yeah.
That's right. And the first set of vada deals with the arriving monk, the Aganthuka bhikkhu. Now, you might imagine this serene contemplative entrance.
Yeah, you do.
But the historical accounts suggest a less than ideal reality sometimes.
Okay, so what were the specific incidents then? What was the real-world chaos these rules were designed to prevent? Help us uncover that story.
Well, the problem was that newly arrived monks would sometimes just burst into the monastery without a second thought. Shoes on, umbrellas still up, heads covered. Yeah, even robes kind of thrown over their heads, and they'd completely neglect to greet the elder resident monks or even ask about lodging. It sounds rather, disrespectful, doesn't it?
It does. Very. And there's a specific, quite startling anecdote that really brings it home.
Oh, yes, the snake story.
The snake story. So one monk, entering an unoccupied residence without looking first, was startled when a snake fell on his back.
Can you imagine? He cried out in fear, naturally.
That certainly puts a new spin on serene contemplation. Wow.
Indeed. And these sorts of, uncouth behaviors and the resulting incidents led to significant complaints from the monks who wished for little.
The conscientious objectors, you called them.
Kind of, yes. They were the ones who really wanted proper conduct to be the norm. They saw how these actions impacted everyone.
So to address this, the Buddha responded with a very precise set of rules for incoming monks.
Extremely precise. They had to remove their shoes, lower umbrellas, uncover heads, wear robes properly, enter calmly. The basics of respect. And once inside, they were expected to observe where resident monks gathered, place their bowl and robe neatly aside, take a suitable seat, then politely inquire about water, food, facilities like toilets, urinals.
Even practical things like walking sticks and meeting times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Even those. And get this, if an unoccupied dwelling was messy, the arriving monk was expected to clean it.
The arriving monk.
Yes. Systematically remove furniture, belongings, sweep floors, wipe walls, make sure everything was orderly. So right from the moment a new monk arrived, the community's integrity kind of hinged on their personal discipline and willingness to care for shared spaces. It's a powerful lesson, isn't it?
Right.
How individual actions ripple through the collective.
It really is. So the burden wasn't solely on the incoming monk, though, was it? How did the resident monks, the Upajjhayas bhikkhu, fit into this?
Yeah.
Did they play their part?
Good question. You're right. The communal story isn't just about the arriving monk. Resident monks seeing new arrivals were sometimes quite neglectful.
Neglectful how?
Well, they wouldn't set out seats or offer water for feet or really welcome them properly or even help them find lodging. And again, you hear those monks who wished for little voicing their concerns about this lack of basic consideration.
It sounds like a fundamental breakdown of hospitality, really. So what steps did the Buddha take to ensure new arrivals actually felt welcomed and, integrated?
The Buddha responded with specific rules for the resident monks, too. They must set out a seat, foot water, footstool, and a footcloth. Proper welcome kit.
Okay.
They should actually go out to meet the arriving monk, receive their bowl and robe, offer water, and if they were able, even wipe their shoes.
Wow, wipe their shoes. That's quite a welcome.
It is. And they were also to respectfully greet elder arriving monks or prompt younger ones to greet them. Crucially, they had to inform the new monk about their lodging occupied or unoccupied and things like where to go for alms and where not to go.
Practicalities.
Exactly. Suitable lay families, location of all facilities, latrine, urinal, drinking water, even the community's established times for entry and exit. It was a very practical, comprehensive welcome. It helped the new monk understand the whole story of their new home right away.
That makes sense. So we've got the arrival covered, the welcome covered. But what about when a monk needs to leave? Turns out even that simple act needed rules to prevent, well, chaos.
Exactly right. The monks leaving the monastery, the Gammika, they would often just abandon their wooden and earthenware belongings without securing them.
Oh, dear.
And leave doors and windows wide open. The result, loss, damage, and unguarded dwelling. A real problem for everyone left behind.
So what steps were put in place for a responsible departure, leaving no trace, or at least no problems?
Departing monks were required to secure their wooden and earthenware items, properly close doors and windows, and importantly, inform another monk or a novice or even a lay attendant that they were leaving.
Right, tell someone.
Yes. And if no one was available, they were instructed to stack furniture, like placing a couch on its stands, stacking stools on top of couches, and generally secure their belongings as best they could.
Resourceful.
Very. If the dwelling leaked, they should cover their items. If the entire dwelling was leaking, they were told to try and move their belongings to the nearest village.
Wow.
And if even that wasn't possible, they were to place items on stone supports out in the open air and cover them with grass or leaves with the hope that, and I quote, even the coals might remain.
Hope even the coals might remain. That's a really vivid image, isn't it? It speaks volumes about pragmatism, about trying to salvage something.
It really does, a deep pragmatism amidst potential adversity.
Okay, so moving on from entrances and exits, let's dive into the core of daily life and etiquette. Starting with mealtime, or Vattakkhandhaka. This section really helps us, I think, uncover the whole story of how mindfulness just permeated every single aspect of monastic life.
Yes, this section reveals a lot about cultivating community and mindfulness. The initial problem was fairly simple. Monks weren't expressing gratitude after receiving alms food from lay people.
Which, understandably, led to complaints from the laity.
Yeah.
Right. They're providing the food.
Exactly. So the Buddha permitted the expression of gratitude. Simple fix.
Seems straightforward, but then, as often happens, it got complicated.
It did. It was later decided that only the elder monks should give thanks for everyone, which led to a couple of incidents.
Oh.
Well, in one case, the Venerable Sariputta, being the elder, was just left alone by the other monks who took off after the meal. He had to walk back all by himself.
Not very communal.
Not at all. And in another case, an elder monk who really needed to use the toilet but was waiting patiently to give thanks actually fainted, held it in too long.
Oh my goodness. Fainted.
Yes. So the Buddha then stipulated that, okay, 4 or 5 elder and junior monks should wait together, share the duty, basically.
Makes sense.
And importantly, if a monk had an immediate urgent need, they could just ask a nearby monk and leave. It beautifully balances decorum with, very practical human needs.
It does. But the problems didn't stop there, did they? Because here come those Chabagi monks again, always stirring up trouble.
Ah, yes, the Chabagyu. They were apparently slovenly, ill-dressed, and frankly, quite rude.
How so this time?
They'd walk ahead of elders, push older monks aside, deny seats to junior monks, and even spread their robes out to sit on them in lay households.
Oh, that's not a good look.
Yeah.
Especially when you rely on lay support.
Not at all. And what's truly fascinating here is the sheer level of detail in the solutions, in the Vatta.
Right.
The Vatta for mealtime offers this masterclass in mindfulness and communal respect. It covers everything. Proper dressing, specific areas to cover, how to fold robes just so,
Okay.
how to walk in a village, not rushing, staying covered and restrained, eyes cast down, quiet, no swaying of the body or arms or head, not leaning on doors, not squatting improperly.
Wow. And the eating etiquette itself.
Just as comprehensive. It was about ensuring shared resources were respected, no one felt shortchanged or uncomfortable. So, eating mindfully, not making a huge amount of food, not covering your soup with rice to kind of hide it.
Hide it? Why would they hide it?
Maybe to get more later, or just poor manners. The point was transparency and fairness, not asking for food for oneself unless ill. Precise rules about how to take a mouthful, how to eat quietly, no slurping, no licking hands or the bowl or lips, general cleanliness.
It wasn't just politeness then, it was cultivating inner awareness.
Exactly. Even in the most mundane acts, like eating. and not disposing of water with food scraps still in it inside someone's house. And finally, junior monks should return first after a meal, maintaining a smooth flow.
Okay, so from the refectory to the streets, the Upajjhayas bhikkhus, the alms-round monks, also had some lessons to learn. And some of these lessons came with pretty vivid consequences, didn't they?
They certainly did. Monks going on alms rounds were sometimes unkempt, careless, just entering and leaving homes without much awareness.
Which led to that really shocking story.
Yes, the one that underlines the need for mindfulness perhaps more than any other. A monk entered a house without really looking, right? Mistakenly went into a private room where a woman was lying naked.
Oh, no.
Her husband found the monk there, assumed the worst, and started beating him, thinking his wife had been defiled.
Until the woman explained.
Until the woman herself explained the monk was innocent, just oblivious, a terrible misunderstanding born from carelessness.
Wow, that's certainly dramatic. A huge potential for disaster without clear guidelines. What other issues came up? And what did the Vata say to avoid these embarrassing and dangerous situations?
Well, monks also stood too far away, or too close, or waited too long, or left too quickly during the alms rounds. Less dramatic, perhaps, but still disruptive for the lay community trying to offer food.
Right.
So the Vata addressed these with similar rules for proper dress and conduct while walking. But crucially, before entering a house, one must observe and note the entrance and exit points.
Situational awareness.
Exactly. Don't rush in or out, stand at an appropriate distance, and be mindful of whether the householders actually intend to give alms, like, are they picking up a ladle? Read the room, essentially.
And when actually receiving the alms.
Hold the robe with the left hand, extend the bowl with the right, and receive with both hands. And here's a key detail. Without staring at the donor's face.
That detail about not staring, it speaks volumes, doesn't it? About humility, perhaps. Respect.
I think so, both. After receiving, cover the bowl with the robe and depart calmly, mindfully.
And there were rules for tidying up afterwards, too.
Yeah.
A shared responsibility.
Yes, the first monk back from the round was responsible for setting up seats, foot water, and a rubbish bin, preparing for the others.
And the last monk back.
They had duties, too. Eat any leftovers if desired, otherwise dispose of them respectfully on clean grass or in water without living creatures, then clean up all the facilities used and refill any water or food containers.
It really highlights how even the end of a routine task required this mindful collective effort. Nothing was just done.
Precisely. Everyone played a part in maintaining order and cleanliness.
Okay, so what about monks who lived out in the wilderness? The Aranyaka bhikkhu, the forest dwellers, they must have faced unique challenges beyond just spiritual discipline.
Oh, absolutely. And their problems were often very much about practical survival. There's an account of a group of monks living in a forest who lacked the most basic practical skills.
Like what?
They had no water supply prepared, no stored food, no fire-starting tools. They couldn't even tell the constellations apart or figure out directions reliably.
That sounds precarious.
Yeah.
Especially in a forest.
It was, and it led to another really unfortunate incident. Robbers came across these monks.
Oh, dear.
And seeing their complete lack of practical knowledge and basic supplies, the robbers mistook them for other robbers trying to look incompetent, maybe rivals, and they beat them up severely.
Ouch. Mistaken identity leading to a beating. A truly painful lesson in basic life skills, I imagine.
A very painful lesson. So, the Buddha instituted practical rules specifically for forest dwellers. Monks must always keep water, food, fire, and fire-starting tools ready. Basic preparedness.
Makes sense.
They must learn about the constellations, at least enough to navigate and be skilled in knowing directions. Survival 101, really.
And rules for leaving the forest, too.
Yes, rules for preparing to leave the forest dwelling to go to a village, making sure their bowl, robe, and shoes were properly packed or carried. It's a clear example of how the monastic path, while deeply spiritual, absolutely required practical self-sufficiency and safety measures.
We've seen rules for movement, meals, alms rounds, even forest survival. Now let's explore how they helped maintain harmony and order within shared physical spaces. Starting with the dwelling place itself, the sanasana. This is where the intricacies of communal living really come into focus, I think.
Definitely. And guess who was causing problems here again?
Let me guess. The Upajjhaya.
You got it. The Upajjhaya monks. This time they were shaking out their robes and bedding in the open air. Which sounds fine, except they were doing it upwind of other monks who were busy working on their robes, covering them in dust.
Oh, come on. That's just inconsiderate.
Extremely. A simple lack of consideration, but very disruptive to others' work and well-being.
So how did the Vata address these kinds of everyday nuisances? How did it lay down a foundation for communal respect in shared spaces?
Well, the Vata mandated that if a dwelling was dirty, a monk should clean it. Again, that systematic process. Remove items, sweep, wipe walls and floor, dispose of rubbish properly,
Right.
and crucially, regarding the dust problem. You should not shake out robes or bedding near other monks, near the dwelling itself, near water sources, near food, or, importantly, upwind in the courtyard.
It had to be done downwind.
It had to be done downwind, simple physics, really, but encoded as a rule of conduct.
It's those little details that really help us uncover the whole story of daily life, isn't it? Like I read there were even rules about adjusting windows.
Yes. Adjusting windows based on dusky winds closing them if the wind came strongly from the east, west, north, or south. And adjusting for the season, too. Open during the day in cold weather, close at night. Close during the day in hot weather, open at night for coolness. Basic climate control, ancient style.
Amazing. And general cleanliness rules applied everywhere.
Courtyards, storage rooms, meeting halls, fire rooms, toilets, everywhere needed care.
And if you were living with an elder monk, more rules.
Even more specific rules, yes. Showing deference. You must not give or ask questions, recite texts, teach Dhamma, light or extinguish lamps, or even open or close windows without their permission.
Oh.
And when walking with an elder, you should turn when they turn and be careful not to brush against them with your robe. It speaks to a very deep sense of respect for seniority within those shared living spaces.
Okay, next up, the Jantagara, the bathing house. Another shared space, another potential source of conflict, often involving.
Our usual suspects, the Chabagya, yes, they were at it again in the bathing house.
What did they do this time? Sounds like a recipe for disaster in a hot, steamy place.
It was. They would apparently disregard warnings from elder monks, use way too much firewood to heat the bathing house super intensely,
Okay.
and then they'd block the door and just sit there, essentially trapping others inside. It caused other monks to faint from the extreme heat.
Faint. Good heavens, that's not just inconsiderate, that's dangerous.
Exactly. Not exactly a relaxing, mindful bath.
No. So what specific rules were implemented to ensure safety, hygiene, and basic respect in this shared, hot, potentially dangerous environment?
Well, firstly, monks were explicitly forbidden from using excessive firewood against an elder's instructions and, crucially, from blocking the door. Safety first.
Right.
Then, specific rules for using the bathing house. Sweep away ashes and clean the area if needed beforehand. Prepare the necessities. Soap powder, wet clay for cleansing, and fill the water trough.
And when entering.
Apply clay to the face, perhaps as a cleanser or protectant, and cover oneself properly, front and back. Modesty and preparation. And importantly, do not sit too close to elders or push junior monks out of the way. Share the space respectfully.
Assistance was encouraged, too.
Yes, if capable, assist elder monks in the bathing house, a nice touch of mutual support.
And leaving.
When leaving, carry your own bathing stool out and cover yourself again. And again, if capable, assist elder monks with their bath afterwards. Don't bathe directly in front of or above elders, a sign of respect. When finished, you had to give way to those still entering.
And the last person out had specific duties, like the alms round.
Exactly the same principle. The monk who left last had the vital duty of cleaning the muddy floor, washing the clay bowl used, putting away the bathing stool, properly extinguishing the fire, and closing the door securely.
A remarkably comprehensive set of instructions for what seems like just taking a bath.
It really is. It covers safety, hygiene, respect, resource management, everything.
And finally, maybe the most mundane, but equally revealing, the Vattakkhandhaka, or toilet etiquette. You might think, rules for the toilet. But again, the stories behind these rules are truly illuminating.
They really are. They underscore the depth of practical wisdom encoded in these vata, even for the most private activities.
What's fascinating here is how practical and health-conscious these ancient rules seem, even now. What was the first challenge that arose regarding the toilet?
Well, there was one Brahmin-born monk who refused to wash himself after defecating. He cited the impurity and the stench as his reason.
Okay, and the consequence?
The rather direct consequence was that he developed worms in his anus.
Ugh. Okay, point taken. Hygiene matters.
Definitely. So the Buddha ruled very clearly. If water is available, one must wash after defecating. Failing to do so is an offense, a direct link between rule, action, and health outcome.
A very direct and quite unpleasant one. What other human challenges cropped up in the toilet area?
Another issue was seniority again. Monks were using the toilet strictly according to seniority rank.
Meaning junior monks had to wait.
Exactly. Sometimes holding their needs for so long that they would actually faint. just like the elder monk waiting to give thanks after the meal.
Fainting seems to have been a recurring issue.
It does pop up. So the Buddha, with clear common sense prevailing, allowed monks to use the toilet simply in the order of arrival. First come, first served.
Makes perfect sense. And of course, the Chobagi were once again the source of disruption here too. What on earth were they doing in the toilet that required such detailed rules?
Oh, a whole list of disruptive behaviors. Rushing into the toilet, exposing themselves unnecessarily, groaning loudly while using it, even chewing toothsticks in there.
Chewing toothsticks in the toilet. Why?
Who knows? Maybe boredom. Bad habit.
Yeah.
But also defecating or urinating outside the designated bowls, spitting in the urinal, using harsh or unsuitable wood to clean themselves afterwards, dropping the used cleaning sticks into the pit instead of disposing of them properly.
Good grief.
Rushing out carelessly, making loud slurping noises while washing themselves, and leaving water pooled in the washing bowl. Basically, a complete disregard for hygiene, shared space, and basic decorum.
So the resulting vada for toilet conduct is incredibly detailed. It sounds, frankly, like a masterclass in modern public restroom etiquette just centuries earlier. What were the key points?
Announce your presence may be a cough before entering so you don't surprise anyone. Place your robe neatly on a hook or peg. Enter calmly and unexposed. Use the toilet while standing on the designated footpads, and then covering oneself properly. No groaning loudly, no chewing toothsticks inside. Use only the designated areas for defecation and urination. Do not spit in the urinal. Use a suitable, non-damaging cleaning stick, and do not drop it down the pit afterwards.
Proper disposal.
Yes. When done, cover yourself again and leave calmly. When washing afterwards, do it on the designated washing footpads without making loud slurping noises, and do not leave stagnant water in the washing bowl.
And cleaning responsibilities.
Yes. You must also clean the toilet area if you find it dirty. Dispose of the container holding used cleaning sticks if it's full. Sweep the surrounding area, and ensure the water pot for washing is refilled for the next person.
This incredible level of detail, it really helps us truly uncover the whole story, doesn't it? How foundational basic hygiene and respect for communal space were, even in the most private setting.
Absolutely foundational.
What stands out to me in all these rules, really, is how much they reflect actual real-world human behavior. The good, the bad, the messy, and the clear need to regulate it for the sake of the community. And nowhere is that more apparent, I think, than in the final area we'll look at, the symbiotic relationship between teacher and student on the monastic path.
Yes. This section, dealing with the duties of the student, the Saddhiviharika, towards their teacher, the Upajjhaya or Acariya, is incredibly detailed and quite touching, actually. The problem initially was stated simply. Students were just not behaving properly towards their teachers.
So how did the Buddha lay out the responsibilities here? How did these Vata aim to cultivate that profound mutual responsibility needed in such a critical relationship?
The solution the Vata prescribed is just exhaustive. Students must act correctly towards their preceptors or teachers. This included a whole range of daily duties. Rising early, providing a toothstick and water for the face, preparing a seat.
Okay, basic care.
Yes, and preparing gruel, cleaning the teacher's bowl afterwards, offering the teacher their outer and inner robes before they go out to the village, and then following behind them, not too far, not too close, just right.
Attentive.
Very. Also being mindful during conversations, not interrupting the teacher when they're speaking, and even having the awareness to gently warn the teacher if they seem about to commit an offense, maybe unintentionally.
Wow, that requires some confidence and discernment from the student.
It does. And the care continued when the teacher returned. Prepare a seat, foot water, receive their bowl and robe, air out any wet robes, fold dry ones, carefully leaving a specific forefinger edge to avoid creasing the middle. Serve meals and water.
It sounds like a full-time job almost.
It's a deep commitment. Providing bathing necessities, water, clay, bathing stool, and assisting with bathing, even wiping the teacher's body if needed or appropriate.
And it went beyond just these daily tasks, didn't it? The students' duties extended into intellectual and spiritual support as well.
Absolutely. That's where it gets really profound. If the teacher was feeling discontent or agitated or maybe even slipping into wrong views, the student was expected to try and resolve it through gentle Dhamma talk, through discussion.
That's a huge responsibility for a student.
It is. And if the teacher incurred a serious offense needing formal Sangha intervention, the student had a duty to actively work to help the Sangha grant them probation or penance or readmission, to support them through that process.
Wow. advocate for them.
Yes, and conversely, if the Sangha intended to impose a punishment, like suspension, the student should try to prevent it, or at least lessen it if possible and appropriate. Practical help also included things like washing, making, or dyeing the teacher's robes.
That is an astonishing level of commitment. And they also had to seek permission for many of their own activities.
Yes, significant limitations on their autonomy, signifying deference. Students generally shouldn't accept or give away bowls, robes, or other requisites, cut anyone's hair, perform services for others, or visit villages, cemeteries, or travel anywhere without their teacher's permission first.
And perhaps most significantly, the commitment during illness.
Yes. If the teacher became sick, the student must attend to them devotedly for their entire life, or at least until they fully recovered, whatever it took.
That paints an incredibly powerful picture of dedication. But it wasn't a one-way street, was it? Teachers sometimes failed their students too.
That's right. Reciprocity is key. The Buddha laid down the teacher's duties as well to complete the whole story of this vital relationship.
So how did the Buddha mirror these responsibilities? How did the Vata ensure the student was equally supported and cared for by the teacher?
The reciprocal duties of the teacher, the Upajjhaya or Acariya, towards their student, the Saddhiviharika or Antevāsika, are just as comprehensive. Teachers must embrace and support their students actively through instruction, questioning, giving advice, and gentle admonition when needed.
Guidance.
Essential guidance. And practical support, too. If a student lacked a necessary item like a bowl or a robe or some other requisite, the teacher should provide one or make sure the student was able to obtain it.
And mirroring the student's responsibility during illness.
Exactly mirrored. If the student became sick, the teacher must care for them throughout their illness. Rising early, providing the toothstick, water, preparing gruel, assisting with bathing. Essentially, the mirror image of the student's duties towards a sick teacher.
It's truly a holistic wraparound approach to care.
It is. Teachers were also expected to assist students with their daily needs, like preparing them for village visits, welcoming them back, serving meals, even helping clean their dwelling space.
And the intellectual and spiritual support was reciprocal too.
Just as students aid teachers with discontent or wrong views, teachers must help resolve students' discontent, regret, or wrong views through Dhamma talk. Mutual spiritual support.
And if the student committed an offense?
If a student incurred a serious offense, the teacher must actively work to help the Sangha grant them probation, penance, or readmission, or try to mitigate punishments imposed by the community. Advocate for the student.
Guide them in practical skills too.
Yes, teachers should guide students in practical tasks like washing, making, or dyeing robes correctly, passing on those essential skills.
And the commitment during illness again.
The same lifelong commitment. If a student is sick, the teacher must attend to them for life or until recovery. It really solidifies this relationship as a deeply mutual, supportive, lifelong commitment.
It really does. It's so much more than just a set of rules. It's like a blueprint for a functioning, compassionate, and deeply supportive community, isn't it?
Absolutely.
And that, I think, brings us towards the end of our deep dive into the Vattakkhandhaka. We've journeyed through this ancient text, really trying to uncover the stories behind the rules that shaped early Buddhist monastic life.
And what might have appeared at first glance to be just a simple list of do's and don'ts, it reveals itself as this remarkably sophisticated system, designed specifically to foster community, mindfulness, and very practical wisdom.
Yeah.
From avoiding, snake surprises in empty huts,
Can't forget the snake.
to preventing fainting spells in toilets or bathhouses, and ensuring that profound mutual care between masters and disciples. These Vata address the very real, very human challenges of living together in harmony.
And it's clear these rules weren't just arbitrary pronouncements, were they? They were direct responses to real-life situations, sometimes humorous, sometimes quite serious situations that disrupted the community or its public perception.
Exactly. They underscore that even seemingly minor acts of neglect or carelessness or rudeness can have really significant ripple effects throughout the whole community.
The Buddha's approach here, it just beautifully illustrates how external discipline, these structures and rules, can actually cultivate internal transformation. Mindfulness, awareness, compassion.
And the source text itself concludes with a really powerful statement, basically saying, one who does not fulfill the Vata does not fulfill morality.
Right.
One whose morality is impure, is unwise, and does not find concentration of mind. One whose mind is distracted and unfocused does not truly see the Dhamma, the truth, and not seeing the good Dhamma is not released from suffering.
And conversely,
One who fulfills the Vata fulfills morality. One whose morality is pure, is wise, and finds concentration of mind, sees the Dhamma, and is released from suffering. A direct causal link.
So the final thought for you listening is this. What is this ancient text, with all its incredibly detailed, sometimes strange-sounding rules, tell us about the profound connection between seemingly mundane regulations, personal discipline, community harmony, and ultimately our deepest well-being even today?
Something to consider.
Something to consider as you navigate your own day, your own rules, your own communities.